Welcome back to Check Out the Stat by your girl Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. So let's start with our superwoman in the spotlight. Today's superwoman is Malika Andrews. Oh my gosh, Malika. Da-da-da-da. Before y'all start, hear me out. I've been wanting to talk about this situation because it's been all over social media. I don't live under a rock. I see what's going on. Right now, if you don't know, Malika Andrews is facing a lot of criticism concerning a situation around OKC player Josh Giddey, which y'all have been waiting for us to talk about it, so don't worry, I'm finna talk about it after recognizing this. If you don't know, Malika is a 28-year-old sports journalist. She's the host of NBA Today. She debuted as ESPN's youngest sideline reporter for a broadcast during the 2020 NBA bubble, and in 2020, she made history as the first woman to host the NBA draft. Now, the thing about Malika Andrews, people are mad at her currently because they feel like she's not addressing the Josh Giddey situation happening at OKC. To be honest, I'm going to be completely honest, I understand where everybody is coming from. There have been a lot of reports from Malika that haven't rubbed people the right way. One example is of Joe Mazzulla accepting his position as the Celtics head coach. So this is exactly how it went, right? She's reporting on TV. Joe Mazzulla is the new Celtics head coach. We're celebrating. She says, we'd be remiss not to mention Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009, domestic battery after an incident at, and the quote goes on. Let me just tell y'all right now, that had nothing to do with him accepting his position as the head coach. But what I also will tell y'all, the same way I just acted that out and read that out, she was reading off a teleprompter. A lot of the stuff Malika reads, when it's quotes like that, is off of a teleprompter, probably written by a writer or producer at ESPN. And like I said, I agree. It had nothing to do with Joe Mazzulla accepting his position as the head coach. And Malika happens to be the forefront of a lot of these issues where she's reading off stuff by these athletes, coaches, and it happens to be a lot of Black people. And I know how it looks. It looks bad. It doesn't rub a lot of people the right way. But who are we to say that that's what she's writing? I know people are saying she didn't report on the Josh Giddey situation. She's been avoiding it, but she actually did the same way she reported on the other situations, but with a lot less information. Malika, why are you reporting on this situation not the same way you did for others? The thing is, there still hasn't been a lot of stuff that we know about the situation. It's a current ongoing investigation. People are mad because they didn't feel like she had enough oomph talking about Josh Giddey, but she had more about other players. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I know how it looks. It just looks bad, but that's the way it is at different corporations. They have to read certain ways a certain way, and they have to read actual facts. Now, I hear all y'all talking about, well, we're always talking about allegations. Why are we not talking about these allegations? That I can't explain to you because you could still have an opinion on it. But I still think, based off of the videos that I've seen, she's reported it the same way that she's reported it the other situations. There's not a difference. If you really look, she's reading off a teleprompter. The girl is probably saying what she's told. And if she wants to keep her job at that corporation, she probably has to do it that way. Now, me personally, I would put up a little fight because you ain't finna make me look a certain type of way if that's not the way I feel. We don't know how she feels. These are still all speculations, but she is getting a lot of heat for this. Now, I know a lot of y'all expecting me to come up here and bash Malika. I am not going to do that. Like I said, she works for ESPN. Y'all know they have to say things a certain way, and there's a lot of producers telling them what to say. I'm not saying that's okay, but that's the way the company is. In addition, there aren't many female reporters, and especially female Black reporters. So I'm not going to sit up here and bash Malika for doing her job at ESPN. But if you do not like her style, there are plenty of other reporters that you can tune into. I'm not even going to say plenty. There's a handful. There's a couple of Black female reporters who are really killing it. Taylor Rooks on Thursday Night Football, Joy Taylor on FS1, Chanae on NBA Today, and I'm going to add myself, Stat Baby from It Is What It Is. Now, I work for It Is What It Is, so I have the privilege to say a lot more about how I feel about a lot of situations. And I'm not telling you you aren't entitled to feel the way that you feel. I get it. I know how it looks, but I'm not going to sit up here and bash the woman for doing the job that she's supposed to do. So if you're going to be mad at her, you might as well be mad at the system because that's the way their system works. That's not the way the system works over here, and that's just how it is. So I'm going to get into how I feel about the actual Josh Giddey situation because I can and I owe it to y'all because we've been wanting to talk about it, so we're finna talk about it. But we're going to talk about it after we interview our guest. So if you've watched the new Squid Games, they have a challenge reality competition version. You know, Squid Games was one of the hottest shows on Netflix, and they had a real life version with 400 plus contestants fighting for a couple $1,000,000. Now, there's one particular player who definitely made his mark on the show, and he also happened to previously play football at Clemson. So today, meet player 432. So today's special guest is Bryton. If you guys haven't watched the new Squid Games on Netflix, make sure to tune in. He is player 432, and we know player 432, but I want to get to know Bryton. So welcome to the show. Check out the stat. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
That's great. Okay. So before we even get into the questions about Squid Games, right? I want to know about you. So where did you grow up? Like, what type of person do you feel like you describe yourself as?
I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was born back in 2000. So shout out to my 2000s baby. But growing up in Baton Rouge, it was kind of difficult in a sense because, like I said in the show, I was the first colored person born into my family, which there's no problem with that. They all loved me the same exact way as any other family would. But growing up, it gets a little tricky every now and then, especially going to two all-white schools like elementary, middle school. That didn't work out. Had to leave to go somewhere else to high school, but I mean, that shit it kinda shaped me for who I am today, not from a color standpoint, but from a respect, okay, stand up for yourself, be yourself no matter what room you're in, that type of ordeal, and I guess that's why I am the way I am. I don't like, what's the right word without sounding mean? It's like I don't like bullshit, It's just I like to keep it real, so
Okay.
if I think it's real, Imma say it because 'cause I'm probably gonna regret it if I don't say it.
But okay, definitely understand where you're coming from. I went to white schools my entire life. You always got to stick up for yourself, kind of do the extra mile to prove yourself. So I definitely get where you're coming from. Fun. It's funny that you're from Louisiana, though. You don't really have an accent. I feel like most people from Louisiana have an accent.
Nah, like I said, nobody in my family has an accent either. Cause my white side is Lebanese. My great grandma came on a boat from Lebanon, and so we don't even really have any true Louisiana in us. It's just like foreign.
Right. So you just grew up there. Got it. Okay. So you played sports, you played football. Did you grow up playing sports? Where did that influence come from? When did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I was always a really, really big ass kid, and so I always played football. My mom put me in football when I was a young age. Started playing tackle when I was about like 7 or 8. So I started real early, played basketball. My dad played in the NBA and overseas a long, long time ago. And then I didn't get to meet him till I was 10. So the moment when I met him, whenever I was 10, the whole sports, like everything blew up in my face. I'm like, all right, now when you're a young kid, you got these big dreams. You think you can, really go do something. So that's what hit me. Sports have always been prominent in my life. And I always wanted to go to college and play ball. I always wanted to go to the NFL or NBA, just like any other kid.
Okay. So you eventually did go to college and play ball, correct?
Mhm.
How was that experience being a student athlete?
So my story is a little different.
Okay.
Uh, my student athlete experience was phenomenal because, and that's just me saying that, but I was the number one linebacker in Louisiana in my grade coming out of high school. So I had a few options on where I wanted to go to college, and I chose Clemson at the time because number one school in the country. They were this big, they were uprising. And I loved it up there. It was gorgeous. It was a great family atmosphere. Coach Sweeney does a great job with that. And so I chose there and kept battling ACL surgeries just over and over and over. And I had three, and then I got my meniscus took out about a year and a half ago. And but way before the meniscus, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like doing it. But the NCAA kept me on scholarship because it was like a medical DQ.
Mhm.
So I got to stay on scholarship, just go to class, still go to school for free, kind of get the best of both worlds. because I wasn't having to do too much with the football team.
Yeah. Well, that's a hard decision to kind of be like, all right, I'm getting all these injuries. Let me actually just stop for a second, focus on myself type of thing. But I mean, at least you had the scholarship. That helps. So I'm happy all that worked out. So when did it hit you when you saw the casting for Squid Games and you were like, you know what, I'm going to try out for this. I can do this. How did that come about? What was the story? What was the background?
So background first, I being in school, the moment I stopped playing, I got to do social media a little bit and I ended up getting a decent following, nothing crazy, and had a few shows reach out, but I turned them down because I wasn't even close to graduating. I had a girl, I was caught up in college, like I just didn't want to go. And then all of that switched. I had no girl. I was doing social media. I wasn't playing ball anymore. I was closer to graduating. And I saw this casting for Squid Game, and I was like, there's no way this is real, but I'm gonna go apply for it anyway. And so I applied for it back in, I'll probably say late July of 2022.
Mhm.
And then went through about a 5, 6 month process with them of just paperwork, making sure I got this, making sure I got that. And I ended up getting the role in late November. And I left school in December, went and filmed in January, and now I'm here.
That's dope. So when you were going through the process, did anybody know, or did you kind of like not tell anybody? You were just like doing it low key.
My people knew. I had to tell the doctors and stuff at Clemson. A few, I didn't tell all my coaches. I only told the coaches that I could trust because I knew that if I wanted to go do the show, then I would have to leave.
Right.
So I told a few coaches. And then as the time continued, a lot more people started figuring it out and asking me about it and this, that, whatever. So it kind of became word on the street for a second. And yeah, nobody really knew except if you were close to me, you knew. But besides that, no.
Got it. Okay. So did you actually drop out? And then when you did drop out, if you did, was it because of Squid Games or were you just over school? Like what was the story with that?
Yeah, it's a good mixture of both.
Okay.
But clearly, Squid Game will take the advantage in that argument. I was going to school to play football. So then I didn't get to play football in a small little college town. There's nothing to do all day. You're just sitting there in your dorm, in your head, going to class every day, wake it like nobody wants to do that. No matter what you say, school is great. Yeah. And a lot of people do need it. Most people in the world, like we need school. We need it to be able to operate as a country. But there's a few people in the world, there's a few opportunities that might come up, that you have to leave to go do because you might not ever get the opportunity again. And so it was a risk. And I did actually drop out, left a full scholarship behind, and I only had one semester left.
Right.
So I would
Well,
agree.
I think sometimes you need to take a risk to be able to reach a certain level of success. How
Mhm.
do you feel about all the people kind of making comments? Because I got to do my little deep dive. We're like, why would you drop out of school for this? Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, what's your response?
Those are all the people that wouldn't do it. That's all it is. And I'm not worried about it because if they had the opportunity, they would have to make that decision. They don't know how they would react to it. So me being someone, I kind of try to hold myself to a high standard. And at the time in my life, I didn't feel like I was doing well. I didn't feel like I was doing the best I could. So I was like, bro, you gotta take a risk. You gotta go do something. And that's what I did. Now, I mean, now it's coming, all into place. But back then it was hard. Like just leaving school, going film, and then I mean I filmed in January and it just came out in November. Like that shit was hard.
Yeah.
No, not knowing what the outcome was gonna be, it was hard. Try kind of just sitting around and waiting.
Yeah, that's a lot. But fast forward to now. Well, not even now. Fast forward to filming, right? You're overseas, you're filming Squid Games, a reality show that has never been done before. When you first entered, what was the feeling like? What was your initial reaction? What was the game plan for Brighton?
Red light, green light blew me away because I can't even tell you how big the building was that we were in. It's a blimp hangar, and if you've ever been next to a blimp, nobody really knows how big a blimp is until they're standing right next to one, and it's
Mhm.
one of the biggest things you'll ever see in your life. and we were in a blimp hangar, and it looked just like the TV show. It didn't feel like you were filming a show. It felt like this was real life. Like you got to go out there and do something and move on to the next challenge. It was really intense, and the set just it blew me away. Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine being in that situation. So, okay, you're going through the games early on, people are kind of labeling you as the villain. How did you feel about that? Like, why are they calling you the villain? Why do you think that came about? And then how do you feel about their reaction to you being a villain?
Yeah, it's a that's like the word everybody likes to use. Which is fine. I knew the show coming out, I was gonna get kind of like that 50-50. Some people gonna like me, some people not. And I didn't expect myself to be a true villain in the show. I guess compared to everybody else that was there, I was a person that could fit that category, for the show. But it didn't really affect me. I knew I had a target on my back. I knew that people wanted me gone. But at the end of the day, I don't know why they were so persistent on wanting me gone. It didn't make that much sense to me. I was like, dude, I'm not even bothering nobody. I wasn't disrespecting anybody. I wasn't stabbing people in the back. I was just going about my business. Like, how people from the South do? Like some people from the South, they just like to talk their shit. Like
Yeah.
that's all it
I
was.
mean,
You
as
don't
you
really
should. I'm all for that.
care.
You should.
You just want to talk your shit. It's no disrespect. I would never stab somebody in the back or eliminate somebody if I had the chance, because that's where the loyalty part comes in. But you can't have sympathy in a game like that. Are you trying to win $4 million? I'm not there to help somebody else. I'm there to win them. I dropped out of school for this, bro. I can't. Yeah, I think I was just a little hard. I think I was just a little hard.
So you do feel like you were, or you're saying that now after seeing
I,
it?
I don't think I was a villain. Villain's not the right word.
Okay.
Villain. I can say that villain is not the right word. It's close, but a villain is just too. A villain is somebody who will just
Like malicious, like he was
like they
out.
want to they want to mess you up just to mess you up.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna mess you up unless it's a challenge. Like if I gotta win or you gotta win, then yeah.
You got to win. So you're just competitive. That's really the word, competitive. But people, I guess, compared to other contestants, it makes you seen as villain. But villain to me is like, oh, like, why you call me? Like, that word choice is a little different. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So I want to get into two specifics of the show. One, there is a part where you did say that you don't trust people, and you said sometimes even your mother. Now, sometimes I think, based off of reactions, people took that out of context. So what is your relationship with your mom? This is your chance to kind of explain that and kind of backtrack on, what was said.
Right. Some people did take it out of context for sure, but my mother is the like I can't even put it into words. She is the best woman that I've ever had in my whole entire life. She's been my best friend since I was born. It was me. That's it. I just got a little brother. He's 13 now, but before that, it was just me and her to like 10 years of my life. And so the not trusting part is just she doesn't see the world the same way I see the world. She's not treated in the world the same way that I'm treated in the world. Or like stuff like that. So it's not really about trust like as a whole. Like I know she has my back. I know if she says something, she means it. Not that type of trust. Like if she's trying to teach me something type of trust. Because she'll even tell you to this day that everything that I know I kind of taught myself. She taught me the ropes, but she didn't teach me as much as like a like a normal parent. And it's not because she didn't do a good job. She did a great job. It was just it's hard trying to raise a kid because I didn't want to listen either. It's hard to raise a kid that doesn't want to listen, and I didn't want to listen. But she did a great job, and that'll be my best friend for life.
That's good. I wanted you to be able to kind of elaborate on that because I just felt like when people heard that, I don't think Netflix was ready for that type of statement. Like when you said it, it was like, oh, he doesn't like that's not even what you said. So I just wanted you to be able to clear that up, say your piece on that.
That color, and the color to me, it's stupid. Like it doesn't. I hate arguing about it. I hate when people think like take it out of context. I hate all it does is cause problems. So I hate when people try to take something I said out of context.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into one individual player on the show, player 299. You know, when he was struggling with the cookie challenge, do you have any regrets on how you handled that situation? Or you felt like you handled it as you should?
Little inside information. What's crazy is that I just got done at lunch with him at the table.
That's fire.
And but now me and him outside of the game, me and him are actually we're cool because
Good.
it was a big scene and we both know that. Um, but I wouldn't have acted differently because I actually just got done telling all of them at the table because it got brought up again.
Mhm.
And of course it got brought up again. And so I'm sitting there telling them, I'm like, look, y'all have to understand that the way I grew up, the reason I'm at the game, the reason for me as Brighton Constantine is completely different than all of y'all. And everybody acts a certain way when the cameras come on. Some people go into their shell, some people come out of their shell. And I was telling them, I'm like, I'm one of the people that comes out of their shell. When the cameras aren't on, I'm in my shell. But when the cameras are on, I come out of my shell. And for some people, it's vice versa. And so I was trying to explain that to them. And I think it worked a little bit since the show's over and it's finally been a year. Nobody's feelings are hurt anymore. But he's a pretty cool guy, and I think he I think he gets it. But I wouldn't act any differently. I think it was good for myself and for the result on the screen.
Okay. Yeah. Post edit, post show. It's just funny looking back too, because like, you know, he had a lot going on, but you know, everybody was stressed. Y'all were just trying to win the game. So, you know, you could talk about it after, but in the moment, you did what you felt like you needed to do. So
Yeah.
that's that. Okay. Last question about the actual show. Do you feel like it brought out the worst in people? Because some people are like, I don't know if I would have acted that way. I don't know if I would have did this, that. Like, do you feel like it brought out the worst in people, or do you feel like people were just doing what they needed to do to survive?
I think it depends on the person in the game. It definitely brought out the worst in some people because in the back of their mind, they're like, "Oh, I now just lost $4.5 million," and they'll do anything to go get that. You know, I was one of those people in the back of my head. I'm like, dang, like I need to go get this bag.
Yeah.
While I'm here, I might as well. But a lot of people, they let the money get to their emotions. They let the money kind of control how they acted, and it definitely brought out the worst in a good amount of people. I think some people learned something about themselves in there, which is which is huge.
Got it. Okay. So now, you know, Squid Games is out. You guys are wrapped filming. How has life been after? How has, you know, your following been? What have you been up to? That type of thing.
Um, I got done filming back in January, and then I've just been doing content pretty much since I guess March, really, and I've just been kind of grinding on that, not really getting any like big recognition or big love because I knew I had the show coming out, so I wasn't too heavy on it. But now I'm doing YouTube, I'm doing Snapchat. I'm about to do big on Snapchat, hopefully. Just a few other opportunities have opened up down the road that I'll be able to go show my face on again. And but I mean, doors just open up, and I kind of just I don't know. I kind of just pick and choose on what I want to go and try to influence as most people as I can. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Okay. And the people want to know, is Brighton single? What's going on? What's your type? What it like? Because if you look at the comments, oh my gosh, Brighton.
Yeah, I am single. I've been single for a while now. After me and my girl in college broke up, I kind of just been focusing on me and doing what I need to do to get where I want to go. But yeah, I'm single right now. Hopefully that changes within like, 2, 3 years. No rush. It's just really not a rush, but like two,
Okay.
3 years. I think that'll be a good time.
Okay. And the
Oh,
last
my
question.
type. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
My
your
bad.
type.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
Let them know your type.
I don't, not to sound cliche, but I don't really have a type. Like I always say if you're pretty, you're pretty. That's kind of just it's kind of just how I rock. But your personality had like it can't be a pretty face, ugly personality type of deal. You know, I would rather ugly face, pretty personality than vice versa. I couldn't do that.
Okay, so what's like a red flag, like off the top of your head? Can't do it.
If she asked for my birthday sign or whatever the hell, whatever the fuck it is. You have no idea how many times there. What are you? Like I know what mine is and this, that, whatever, but I just don't even indulge in it.
Right.
So when they ask me, I'm like, yeah, we can, this is done before it even got started.
Hey guys, y'all heard it here first. If you ask his sign, you might be scaring him away.
It's a Scorpio, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah.
So last question, because my show is about woman empowerment. Is there any woman that you want to shout out that you feel like is killing it in the game industry, or someone that you personally know?
I mean, giving a shout out to my mom would be kind of cliche.
Good, but
Uh,
if you got somebody else, even better.
uh, let me think. Because I'm not gonna lie, I see women killing it on social media more than I see men killing it on social media. And hmm, I can't single one out like that. I can't. So I'm gonna go with my mom, man.
Mhm.
But my mom is the best person I've ever met. She taught me how to be strong. She taught me how to be a lone survivor, if you will, you know. And so shout out to her because I know she's doing great. And she can't wait for me to move the fuck out of Baton Rouge. So
It's coming. It's coming.
it's coming. It's coming. I don't live with her, but she wants me out the city just
Yeah.
so I.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Well, is there any socials? How can people follow you? Where can they follow your journey?
Yeah, on Instagram, Brighton Constantine, YouTube, Brighton Constantine, Snapchat, that's the real me. I'm not kidding. Snapchat is unfiltered what I do every single day. It's Brighton underscore 1024. But I mean everything else is really just Brighton Constantine. So if you look up that name right there, you should be able to find it.
Hey, dope. Well, Bryton, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. And all of you guys, make sure to check out Squid Game, the challenge, so you guys can see Bryton in it. We're going to go to break. And when we return, we'll get into Ain't No Way.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here? This woman wanna be free. Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about you.
Welcome back. Moving along to the crazy things that have happened this week. Told y'all I would talk about it. Ain't no way OKC's Josh Giddey had an alleged relationship with a minor. So let's start with the facts because this is a serious investigation. So I'm going to tell y'all what I know. One, this is an ongoing investigation by the league. Josh Giddey is a 21-year-old from Australia playing for the OKC Thunder. There are pictures circulating on social media of him meeting this girl at the club. She has a drink in hand. Another picture, which is another girl of her saying that she just did it with Josh Giddey. But right now, we still do not know the age of the girl. Josh has still been able to play. And currently now we know the child's family isn't cooperating with authorities. That is all we know. Now, I'm not going to lie. The way the situation looks, it looks bad because there's pictures everywhere. There's pictures of Josh Giddey with the girl. There's pictures of him at the club. And a lot of the things don't make sense. I'm not going to say the girl's name because she obviously is a minor, but it's still confusing because if she is a minor and she's at the club, there's apparently a lot of other aspects that we don't know about it. So that's how I feel about the situation at hand. But what doesn't make sense to me is the conditions in which the situation is being handled. Because why is Josh Giddey still playing? Let's really talk about it. Ja is currently suspended for 25 games without pay for flashing a gun on IG Live. I'm not saying what Ja did was right, but truthfully, there was no harm actually done. Josh Giddey, like I said, it's allegations. We don't know what's going on, but as far as Ja, no harm was done. And when Ja was in trouble, it was everywhere. Every podcast was talking about it. Every network was talking about it. Everybody was telling Ja what he should and shouldn't do. And honestly, as far as the Josh Giddey situation, I've seen it all being social media talk. You know, a lot of people feel strongly about it. Some people don't care. Like I said, it's a very important situation, which is why I feel like Josh should be sitting out games right now. If you're going through a current investigation, that's a distraction to your team. Nobody's paying attention to what OKC has to offer right now. Everybody's paying attention to what Josh Giddey did. Why is he playing? What is he doing? What's happening? I heard he's getting booed on the court. I don't know if that's true. That's what they're saying in videos. There's a lot of other commotion that is being a distraction to the team that they don't need right now. So I think the best solution is to either bench him or don't allow him to play until the investigation is done. So that's my opinion about it. There's not much else of an opinion I can give you because we don't know what's going on. And I don't know the girl's age. I don't know the conditions in which they met. I don't know how long their relationship was. I can just tell you how I feel about the allegations that were said. Now, I know a lot of people have lost faith in the media because they're like, okay, you guys always talk about certain situations, but you're not talking about this situation. I can't control what they do, but I can control what I talk about it. And I told y'all how I feel about it. I feel like Josh Giddey shouldn't be playing. It doesn't make sense. There's been far more other cases with way less issues, and they've faced way more repercussions for it. Meanwhile, Josh Giddey still gets to hoop it up. I don't think it's right, but that's what's happening. So right now, all eyes are finna be on the league to see what they're gonna do next. Because if everything is true and he was messing with the minor, what are y'all doing next? What are you guys going to do to Josh Giddey, and what is he going to face? We don't know. All eyes are on their next steps. Moving along to Tell Me What's Up. Like I said, the stats want to be the stats without questions and opinions from you. So I asked for y'all's hot takes, and y'all told me what's up. So I only just got one for today. I am just going to give a shout out to Mikey Williams. He pleaded guilty to a single count of making criminal threats when he was facing up to 20 plus years in prison. Now, we all know Mikey had a lot going on. We've talked about it on It Is What It Is, and I'm sure you guys have all seen it on social media. He's facing far less charges than what he was supposed to face. So congrats to him for getting out of it. But I know, now I'm going to say it again, all eyes are on Mikey Williams, because what are you going to do next? You've got a second chance that many people don't get, and you are very blessed to be in this situation. So listen, man, we want to see you ball, and hopefully you can turn things around. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.
Two big necks, like when they doing them 2 for $5.